What's up YouTube, Car Boss here, back in another video where we talk about cars, money, investing. Today's video is day 2 recap of the Goldin Marvel auctions, right? So that ended just last night here. Not much different from yesterday. Yesterday's video we talked about a huge bloodbath on a lot of PMGs that ended way below expectation, right? You have PMG blues that's ending sub less than $2,000 and even some PMG greens that ended only at 2,000 plus. A couple of big bangers from yesterday was the Spider-Man PMG Blue 2013 that ended for about $58,000 and a Wolverine that just closed for 20k, right? Today, not as long list as yesterday, but we have two big hitters here. Okay, in my yesterday's video, I kind of did a preview on some of the stuff that's going to end today and had some predictions on the closing prices, and we're going to look at some of the cards that I talked about yesterday. But first, before we talk about all the down stuff, let's talk about two cards that did really well. So first up is this Galactus here, 2013 PMG Green BGS 9, right? Nice looking card, and this Galactus is a number out of 10. Closed for $17,400. I predicted that this card would end at about $10,000, and it has gone way above and way beyond now. Am I surprised? Yep, maybe. But just to show that this card is highly appreciated, right? Because it's only Galactus in the entire PMG lineup, and of course you got this small appearance of Silver Surfer right here. So PMG greens naturally would command a lot of premium. That's why I was pretty surprised that a lot of PMG greens that ended below expectations. I believe we had a Human Torch yesterday for just $5,000. Doctor Strange 2015 PMG green that ended only for $8,400. So that again, grades maybe has that affecting. I think those PMG greens were like PSA 8 or BGS 8.5. So there is a premium on this higher grade card at a BGS 9, and that's evident through the next one we're going to see, which is this Black Widow PSA 10 2015 Pop 1, right? So essentially this is almost considered one-on-one. $28,000, 800. So huge price paid for this card. Of course, this is 2015 is the first appearance of Black Widow in the PMG lineup, right? She appeared one more time in 2017, but this one's nice looking card. Again, PMG greens, that's number 10, and this is just a PSA 10, making it a Pop 1. I can certainly appreciate why the premium is being paid for such a rare item in a sense, because these are all high grade investment worthy collectibles. And the stuff that we talked about yesterday, lots of PMG closed yesterday were mainly around the 5, 6, 7 kind of grade. There were some 8s of course, and I think there was only one 9, which is the blue PMG Scarlet Witch. So this is the only PSA 10 we'll see in the entire 2-day listing, right? Hard to believe, right? So naturally, you expect the premiums over here, $28,000. Is it high? Is it low? Who knows, right? If you can afford it, why not? But definitely, I can see why a huge amount of dollars being paid for an investment worthy card PSA 10 on a card that's number out 10. Alright, moving on. 2013 PMG Blue Thor. I talked about this yesterday, being roughly about closing the same price as the Incredible Hulk at $6,600. This ended spot on at $6,600. I think that sometime not too long ago, I think a Raw for this tour ended around like $9,000. So of course this has dropped about like 30%. Moving on, Black Panther. I predicted this card was going for about $4,000 to $5,000. So this just ended a bit below at $3,600. What's important for this one is the PSA 8.5, right? Slightly better grade than a normal PSA 8, but again, a lot of PMGs are being depressed in terms of prices, and this one's no different. Moving on, Iron Man. Yep, Spider-Man. Oh man, I had the impression that this Spider-Man was gonna close roughly about like maybe about $10,000. So this one just falls slightly under. I would think that a lot of other characters, right? Maybe you talk about Black Panther, Thor, will be affected by this downswing, but not Spider-Man, right? Given that he's definitely the best character in terms of investment in the Marvel universe, and we're going to talk about another Spider-Man later on. But this one, $8,000 for BGS 8.5, equivalent to roughly a PSA 8. Kind of a bit low, perhaps, but whoever picked this up definitely got a good buy for this particular Spider-Man, right? It doesn't have the iconic feel compared to the 2013 one, but still PMG red for Spider-Man, color matching to his suit. So Oh, good. Moving on. So we got another Thor here. Wolverine. This is the one I'll talk about. So there are two Wolverines in this listing here. You can see here 2015 and another one 2017. So the 2015 ended for 3600 and this 2017 ended for 1680. Now this price is important because if you look at some comps, right, for the Wolverine, look at that. Okay, I'm not going to look at this 2015 one at $15,000. Not even sure whether that's real, but you look at the two that closed about a month and a half ago, right? $6,500, and where is it now? You know, for PSA 8, 3,600, about half the price, right? Consider that it's graded 8 versus raw at 6,500. So what do you know? But the worst one will be this 2017 one, right? So it's at 1680, and when you look at some of the comps here for this 2017, 5,600 for PSA that just ended about, this was during the high time, I would think, so it's about like 2 months already. So how much this has dropped, like 70% decline from 5,600 to just 1680. That's a lot. Yep, that's a lot. Moving on, a couple other cards here. Captain America, Venom, right? I talked about this yesterday. PSA 10 Jambalaya Venom, right, ended in PWCC for about $7,800, and I expected that this BGS 9.5 quad plus grade to end roughly around there, and this closed at 4,800. You know, I do have a soft spot for Jambalaya. I do collect the 2015 and not the 2013's one, but this is the 2013 OG, and this is Venom, right? Top character, top grade here. So for something like as rare as Jambalaya, which is actually a case hit, okay, closing for under $5,000, that's, to me, it's actually a bargain. So I think maybe what has hurt this particular Jambalaya is because maybe it just doesn't have a serial number, right? But people don't understand some of the pack odds for this Jambalaya. It is pretty hard to come by, especially getting these kind of grades. Okay, moving on. I got two 2017 Royal Foils here, Peter Parker, Spider-Man, and Miles Morales. This is number now out of 99, and both are in SGC 10 slab. I think there was yesterday I talked about, you know, the lack of appreciation for SGC slabs. Don't get me wrong, I actually like the look and feel of SGC slabs, but from an investment perspective, they just fall short of what PSA is actually selling for. And this is no evident. This is quite evident here, right? Look at this. This is a SGC 10 slab, and it's just selling for $3,000 for this Peter Parker Spider-Man. And I did mention that the raw was going for about 2,500, so it's just a touch premium above just a raw. And you look at this Miles Morales, right? $2,000. I think raw is going for about 1,500 to about 1,800. Again, just a touch above the raw, but a PSA 9 just recently sold, I think about 2 to 3 weeks ago, for $3,500, right? All right, two more cards to go, right? So I got Thanos here, 2013 PMG red, PSA 8. Why is this important? It closed for 1,800 in the PSA 8 slab, whereas there was a Thanos that just got sold somewhere in March, so it makes it about a month ago for 2,500 raw. That's a lot of difference, right, for Thanos, but not as great as this Spider-Man coming here. Check out this Spider-Man, right? I talked about this having, you know, perhaps also average could close for about like the $8,000 range, and there was a basis for that, right? So you look at this BGS 8, not the preferred grade, right, for this particular card, but then again, $4,800, that seems pretty cheap. But when you compare that to one recent auction that actually just closed barely 2 weeks ago, right, March 28, for $5,600, and this is a BGS 7.5 slab, and now you're getting a slab that's actually half a grade point better, but maybe 20% in terms of discount. So you can see where the prices have kind of fall off. You know, even Spider-Man is not really spared, and I talked about the Spider-Man earlier here as well, the 2015 one. So a lot of pullbacks in terms of the prices. I think my general view of this Goldin auctions, I think there are a couple of points. Number one, there were a lot of low grade slabs here, a lot of PSA 5, 6, and 7s, you know, some 8s as well. Very few PSA 9s, and definitely just one PSA 10, right, amongst all the entire listing. And that's, you know, showing that, you know, it could be a couple of sellers here just trying to move all their low grade stuff, okay, perhaps to just clear the inventory, or maybe just consolidating the position, right? But definitely there, even though there are many cards here, but there is lack of high quality cards in this listing. Secondly, when you look at all the prices, right, like we talked about yesterday, whereby a lot of PMG blues ending for less than $2,000, PMG green Luke Cage PSA 8 ending for just $2,000, Human Torch $5,000, right? All these numbers were way bigger, a couple of months back, so you can see all the pullback for these cards, right? So in general, I think that the grade now makes a lot of difference. I believe in just 2 months ago there was a huge mad rush just to pick up PMGs. Doesn't matter the condition, doesn't matter the grade, and right now when people are starting to try to consolidate the position, they are actually figuring out that they should get better grades, and that's perhaps the way they should be going, and it's reflective in the price for some of these high grade stuff. You look at this Black Widow, alright, 28,000, this Galactus 17,000, whereas if you look at smaller grades of PSA 8s, even though it's deemed that PSA 8s is better than Raw, but if you compare to like a sports card, PSA 8 is actually inferior compared to a Raw. So people are definitely now perhaps looking at 9s and above, and all these listings that close. Of course there are some outliers, right? You talk about this Venom here and this SGC 10s here, but in general you can look at all the lower grades that ended today and yesterday as well. Alright, that's my outlook for this Goldin auctions. I probably need to study on the impact of all these PMGs and entering into the market. People are very worried, right? So many of these cards really pulling down the comps, and I definitely think that these are going to be representing new comps. But again, I point out low grade stuff, right? PSA 8s, PSA 7s. So if you're buying into PSA 9s, obviously it's going to be a tough fight for those kind of high grade cards, and the premiums are going to be way higher, right? So we'll see, right? Alright, so that's it for this Goldin auctions review. I hope you guys enjoyed this short weekend segment, and do like and subscribe for future Marvel content. Right, cool. Thanks for watching, guys. Till next video. Cowboys out.